might have noticed, especially in high-end or challenge content, people swapping loadouts on the go, for things such as ability changing exotics, or swapping to specialised builds such as Lucky Pants. And this is something I believe everyone could and probably should be doing. It's not as complicated as it may seem. The choices made in the creation of loadouts to swap between can be broken into these few things: the weapon types, exotic armour and armour mods. Weapon types, here's the only thing you need to know. Swapping from special to special will lose you no ammo, as you can see here. Swapping from special to primary is of course fine, but swapping from primary to special will completely remove that special ammo's reserves. This is why, when possible, you should probably be looking to use double special, or at the very least ensure your primary weapon is in the same weapon slot between loadouts. Also, for switching loadouts, make sure that any aspects, fragments and abilities are all the same. If your aspects or fragments are not matching, you will lose all of your ability energy across the board, which is not ideal. This can be easily avoided by just copying an existing loadout as a baseline. The next thing, armour mods. So typically you want a setup for add clear and a setup for focus damage. And with both of these, there are some mainstay mods you will always want to be using. So first up, for add clear setup. Critically, you want ways to generate orbs, survivability tools, and importantly, no decaying armour charge mods. So here's an example. Helmet mods match your siphons to your weapons of choice. Arms is basically the same story. Legs is where it gets more important. Instead of surge mods, opt for a scavenger mod and recuperation/innovation for sustain. You will also need to have one armour mod which interacts with the charge of light mechanic, otherwise collecting orbs will give no benefit. I like to use special finisher on the class item, as this one could be useful at times, but importantly does not cause armour charges to decay. And in this example, the weapon setup as stated before is double special. I went with indebted kindness as a jack of all trades option. Something like forbearance is also good. For heavy weapons, swapping between different ones will cost ammo, so be sure to select a heavy which will be suitable throughout. And in this case I use the exotic armour Assassin's Cowl, just because again it's survivability. Now moving over to the loadout I will be swapping to, which is instead focused on damage. The key change here is to matching surges to your chosen weapons. Always find a way to fit 3 stacks of these. It can be all in one element, likely matching your heavy, or if utilising multiple weapons with something such as Lucky Pants, it may be better to go with 2 surges matching your heavy and 1 matching your hand cannon. Also, if you are using weapon swaps, you could fit in dexterity mods on the arm slot. Elsewise, if you're manually reloading, use loader mods instead. Also, replace the special finisher mod with elemental time dilation just to make your surges last for longer. And naturally, this loadout should have your exotic armour and or weaponry matched for DPS rotations. So I use the Celestial Nighthawk here, and swapped out the Indebted Kindness for a Persuader, as this will be used alongside Edge Transit for excellent burst damage. In a lot of raid or dungeon boss encounters, swapping loadouts such as this just before damage begins will be more than enough. It ensures you always have weapons available to match your situation, armour mods to help you survive, and also ensures that you have full surge stacks going into damage, as well as it just being easy to execute. And another way you can loadout swap is actually between 2 different damage loadouts. So sticking with Solar Hunter as an example, what I want to do is start with Celestial Nighthawk for its burst damage, and then swap over to Lucky Pants, so I can also utilise its effect to heavily increase total effective damage. It's the same principle as before, but this time you may be swapping during DPS, and if doing this you just want to be as quick as possible. But other than that you are pretty much set. This can really help increase your damage output, and make even more out of a subclass than what would be typically available. I do highly recommend everyone having at least an add clear and DPS loadout ready to go on all the characters you play, even if it's just really simple ones. There's no reason not to and will help out a bunch. Thank you for watching.